I don't want to say coloring the hearts are mindless, but kind of they are, because you can do one color. You don't have to think about it. You can put something doodle on it, but they're so fun. Once you start creating on the plastic, you're never going to want to stop because it's rough.
Yeah.
And it's colored pencil. So there's like, ASMR with the kids like crunching. It's that feel, it's that sensory.
Yeah.
And it's very, it's fun.
Yeah.
I say, I'm not addicted to drugs. I'm not addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to plastic.
I love that. Well, be careful though with that much plastic. You touch it.
I know, no, not sniffing.
Let's talk tails.
Today's Tales with Taylor guest is a trailblazer born of adversity, finding her true calling after an unexpected detour from her original path. Since 2005, she has passionately dedicated time and attention to teaching and creating her unique COLORME art style. An evangelist for personal growth, she firmly believes in awakening the innate artist within everyone. Blending words and phrases into collaborative art pieces, her innovative approach has resonated with diverse audiences spanning corporations, conferences, social gatherings, and spiritual communities. Her bold spirit and unwavering commitment to helping others live life to the fullest make her a truly inspiring figure. It's Debra Lee Murrow. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, this is so fun.
So the first tale that I obviously have to hear from reading this bio is, what was the unexpected turn? What was the original path? What's the tale that arrived to color me?
Well, I first went to go into college for geography and travel tourism. Right?
Okay.
Because I wanted to travel.
Okay.
So fast forward, odd jobs. I didn't really get into the travel industry too much. And in my late 20s, I was like, okay, there's got to be something better than this. And I was doing sales at the time. That was my last real corporate job. And I loved it. So it was either my own business or training. Not realizing the urge to train was the teacher in me. So I go down to New York City. I try do my tape for voiceovers. I get my pictures done, maybe print modeling, something. I take singing lessons. I go to some acting shoots. And all of a sudden I'm reading and reading and reading and reading. And ka-ching, I wake up one day, I read these books and I'm like, it really was just a moment of, I have the revelation of the power of words. I'm like, oh, because I was journaling and I was really getting what I was put on the paper, like almost to the T. One morning, I wrote down, I need to meet so-and-so. I ran down my stairs. I was on 14th Street in the East Village. So fun. And literally ran right into that person.
Wow.
It was great. But before I did that, I was looking around my apartment because I was trying to find my wallet. So I was delayed to the exact moment I needed to meet that person. Let that sink in for a minute. Like we are truly co-creating and our words are powerful. So I go to art stores here and there and I ran into my magic pen or my supernatural pen. It's a brush pen. And it is like, it's immediately a paintbrush because the ink is in the bottom, right? And I just can't stop. And the very first piece I do was like, what do I do? It's I am healthy, healed, happy, and blessed. It was my very, very first piece and it was on a big sheet. And I'm just having fun. I started doing name cards. I would do Taylor is love. So I did Karen is love. And my girlfriend colored it. And at that very moment, I'm like, great, color me. I'll make this line color me. So way before adult coloring was popular.
Right.
And it just kind of popped. And I haven't swayed. Of course, getting pulled left and right on doing, other things while always doing this. I never get bored of this pen. It's just so relaxing.
So were you a doodler as a child? Did you always love to draw and then maybe life told you, oh, let's do more serious things, perhaps like the geography and the tourism, and then it came back? And did you always have that artistic passion?
Okay, so I have a minor in art.
Okay.
And I always thought I would just do it as a hobby. But I think I believed the lie of, oh, you don't want to do the same thing over and over again? Like, I don't know where that thought came from. right? The gremlins, as you call them.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh yeah, I want to travel. So let's go into travel tourism, not thinking that I travel now with my art,
Right.
right? If you don't have coaches and mentors in your life, quickly get some because they can expand your vision, right? And to say, well, you could have that and that. It's like, oh, okay, that would have been a good idea.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you can have your cake and eat it too.
That's right.
So, you can see a glimpse of some of the art here, but I know you also brought some wonderful pieces. So
Yes.
can you please show us,
Yeah.
what is, Color Me art really? And what is it?
Well, for corporations, when they have conferences, I'm usually stage right.
Yes.
And I am drawing with my magical brush pen, and I'm capturing some key things that's being talked about. Usually conferences are planned for a year or two, and all of a sudden, blink, and it's over. People take notes, and the notebooks stay on the shelves. So this piece can be transformed into a large canvas, and then people can paint. After the conference, everybody gets a digital copy. I chose this one because I love the lips.
I do love the lips too. I noticed I saw a smile clearly and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, there's lips on there.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. So the idea is that everybody at the conference gets a digital piece to then remember, to then color, and then mull over what did that conference mean to me? What was my takeaway? What could I do?
Yeah.
So I've been doing this for forever, and I finally last year, woman calls me up, and she goes, "I've been staring at the piece that you created at this retreat for 2 years, and I'm now hosting a conference. Would you come and draw for me?"
Right.
It was like, boom. I'm like, oh, this is a perfect calling card for me, right?
Yeah.
Because it stayed in there. These are usable pieces of art. And then when this gets done as a large canvas, it's so amazing because when people paint on it, they're oil paint sticks. They're about that big. They dry completely, and they're creamy and mushy. They can mush with their fingers. And it could sit in the office for a couple months, the big canvas. And as people come in, they put a little, it could be the lunchtime art break, something like that.
Yeah.
And I love that idea.
Probably so good for company like morale, just to get people together to do an activity together. And, when you're doing something creative, it's, no one's frowning during creativity.
Absolutely. And here's the other most important thing about that. Thank you for bringing that up. If I can get you to be quiet, that's you live in the left side of words. If I can shut that down for a little bit and get you to open up that right side and flow, get in flow like that pen, and then people start breathing. You just start, doodling and creating. And all of a sudden I feel like that's the God side, that's the open side, that's the flow side, that's the vision side, that's the receiving side. I can get you into kind of a meditation, right? In the art. And it's, in my art class, I teach a class called Color Me Pen and Ink, which is mixed media and other mediums to do on top of these after we form this. But the question is, once we play with this, is what do you need more of in your life right now? And everybody gets to pick a different word or an image. I don't leave it at words. Like maybe there are definitely some people more advanced in art, but there are definitely some people like, I can't do this. Right? So I merge this, and it's an art class for all ages. Literally, I've taught kids next to adults, and I love that because the adults peer over. And they're like, what's he doing? Because kids are so free.
Yeah.
They're just
there's no how you're supposed to do art. There's no
Exactly.
rules and things that they could think of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's excellent. And then
pretty cool.
how do you determine what words to put on the page?
God-given, God-driven. It hits me, right? It's a phrase. It's a moment. It's a statement. It's, it needs to be heard. It needs to be, said again, that sort of thing.
Okay, because you're thinking at a conference, the number of words being said and
it's
things
a lot.
to then pick up those pieces. Because I've had the pleasure of seeing you in action. We're both members of NABO, the National Association of Women Business Owners, and so I've seen you at during conferences actually creating this beautiful art.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very fulfilling. So backtrack a little bit. I didn't do this right away. I was just doing my art. I was in my seat at different events, creating on my lap. And all of a sudden I heard of this industry, visual note taking, graphic. I'm like, what is that? I'm like, I could be up there. Right? I'm like, okay, well, got to be a little bold, right? So I I used to sit in conferences, learning and growing when I was in my 20s in New York City, and I would fall off. Because I'm a kinesthetic learner. I have a talk called Born for Greatness and a Purpose, where we go through the different 4 types of learners.
Yeah.
So being a kinesthetic learner and visual, but I can only take so much information in, and if I'm not doing something with my hands, I'm like, boom. So
I can say the same.
You can say. So I started sitting with lined paper with a pen, listening to a conference, and I would do THX for thanks. And I would always just journaling gratitude and THX. And then all of a sudden I would hear a word. I was like, oh, that's good. I write that down. And then I'd continue like furiously writing, doing something like those fidget spinners. They're like a dream for kids right now and teachers. Everybody should have those in their classroom. Because if they can get the kids doing this, they can hear. Because they're on the games. Kids now can do 1,000 times more than we as kids.
Oh my gosh. As a mom with young kids, it is quite amazing to see, maybe it's not always looked at good, but how they navigate a screen, how they understand, the functionality of things, the swiping, the this, like it's amazing how quickly, my son, I can say, hey, can you pull up the game? He knows how to turn on the fire stick, get all, everything.
Yeah.
So,
they're quick. I was, when I was a kid, the thing I played was Pong. That's the only thing I did.
Yeah,
it was
Pong is fun.
Early day.
Yeah.
So I think I got a little bit of that more than I'm the baby of 5 girls.
Okay, I'm a baby too.
Oh, really? How many?
Of 3 others.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I'm also a half child. So my dad's only child. So I
Right.
got like a little bit of that mixed feel. Yeah.
Very nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
Fun. Yeah. No, babies, I think we have a lot of fun.
I do too.
Yes. So yeah, my husband, he's also the baby of the family too. So
How many in his family?
he's only of 2. So
Okay.
he only has an older sister.
That's okay.
Yeah, but still. Yeah. That's so cool.
That's funny.
And so tell me the tale of one of your more unique conferences or one that even just stuck with you of what you made there.
Well, I would say when I speak as a keynote and I'm doing Born for Greatness and a Purpose, that was a major milestone for me because that was the first time I had done it. Like I'm on this platform and it's motivational speakers or something else. And I'm like, well, there's no category for me. So, okay, I'm a speaker.
Yeah. You're a motivational speaker, yes.
Of course I am. And that was really interesting because as I speak, I'm painting. And I'm pulling through on a big, big canvas. And then the people in their seats have a blank piece of paper and a pen, no eraser, no pencil, because it's not an art class. I want them to follow along with me and just quick is better. Because when you say, what did you love to do as a kid? First thought, right? I want quick answers because that's usually the one. So when I pull people through that, it's such a cool release. Everybody has something different. I make them say my famous phrase, shall we? So before I start any art class or do anything, my signature card is I am an artist and I am creative. And I make them say it 3 times all together. Because when I can get that cemented in somebody's brain before they start, I stop the blah, 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 right? I can't, I shouldn't, I won't, I didn't,
you already
this
declared
happened.
you are, yeah.
Let that go. I'm sorry that happened to you in kindergarten. Let's erase that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we have to talk about that, forgive it, and then like a cloud, pop, there it's gone. So now we can focus on what we really want to create,
Yeah, it is tough. I didn't think about that. Sorry to interrupt you, but just the fact that in class you are given a grade for art, which I guess if you're said, oh, we're doing a Van Gogh type medium, and if you don't do it in that style, that's how you get graded. But it's just not fair to when you think about the reality of what art is to even grade children who are learning and, so precious and being molded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Never grade on the, at a certain age.
Yeah.
The actual artwork, you grade on the, did they follow directions?
Yeah.
That's what you're.
Because honestly, I grew up for the longest time too thinking I wish I could, do art is what I thought, because I was like, I couldn't draw my portrait the way that other people could draw a portrait, and you're graded then on how you draw a portrait. So you're like, I'm not an artist, I guess.
Exactly, right? But here's the key on that.
Yeah.
Art is a learned skill. Reading, writing, arithmetic, art should be for sure, taught as a kindergartner all the way through. Maybe it should be at the end of the day because it's a flip switch of the side, right?
Yeah.
But it should be taught in there. There is, I teach from a book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. And in that she says, and I have adopted this, she doesn't teach you how to draw. She teaches you how to see, right? So if I can teach you how to see, then you can draw. If I can teach you proportion, you can draw, right?
Yeah.
There's a hack in there that you're drawing the crinkles in your hand. And you're not looking at your paper. You're just looking at your hand. And you're using your head, your brain, as a seismograph. You know, it just it's registering. What are you seeing? You're not drawing the hand, just the crinkles. And it's that pop shift to the right. Because she realized that she was in charge of this school in Venice, California, to get them up to drawing speed. And she realized through that class that, oh, they could draw. After sitting in the yuck. Like your son is a baseball player.
Yeah.
He's hitting the T-ball. What if he couldn't hit the T-ball at first? Would you say, oh, I'm sorry, you're not a baseball player?
Right.
Because you couldn't hit
do
it.
his T-ball, yeah.
Well, you had to sit in the yuck. He's got to hit that 50 times, right? You got to sit and draw, throw it away. Sit, draw, throw it away. And then you can do it, right? But people don't allow themselves to sit in it because I was in that class. I took her class for a week. I wanted to cry. I'm like, here I am, an artist. I'm like, I want to cry because it's a conflict. The right and the brain, the right brain and the left brain, they're in jockey position.
Right.
And they cut the corpus callosum in one of their in the hospital.
Okay.
They used to do that for epilepsy.
Interesting. It just reminds me of like the Men in Black episode. You know, the scene where they open the alien.
Yeah,
Or romantic, we think of that. Yeah.
Right? So, Kat, picture this. So here, all of a sudden, the right is going for the pen, and the left hand pulled it back. Think about that. You're in competition with your own brain.
Right.
That's why people don't do art. You know, like, oh, I can't. But try. No, I was made fun of. They go down the list. So it's so important to do. Mental health, right? Wellness. Companies are now having their separate rooms, something cozy like this, with some adult coloring books, which is awesome.
Yeah, I literally gifted one of my best friends an adult coloring book recently. You know, she had a long flight and was like, here you go. This will be something that'll be fun, you know?
Yeah. I have 2 I've published. I probably have 500 more I should, because I have a plethora of drawings.
Right, so true. That is so true. So the question I typically ask is if you were to write a book, what would be the title of that tale? But it sounds like you already have some coloring books. So what are the titles of those?
Yes.
How can we find those?
Okay, so Amazon, The Fruits of the Spirit, and then the 12 Steps for Christians. So if you're Alcoholics Anonymous one, and it's really, it gets you to journal and it gets you to color. On both sides.
Wow.
My next one, which is there, I just haven't done all the work. It's the International Book of Love. So it's love in 14 different languages. Yeah.
Cute.
And in their characters, and it's a lot of fun.
And then it sounds to me, just, you have a keynote and things, that there's possibly more of a developmental book in the works where you could have your keynote mixed with some color break. I could just that'd be kind of fun, to have a book like that did have a mix. I always appreciate when a book has note spaces. But why not note spaces and a little creativity spot?
That's right. That's right. It's got to have that. Yeah. I'm recently in the Abundance book with Robert and Sean Jones.
Okay.
And it's a business book. It's one page.
Yes,
you realize
yes,
it, right?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So, they've come out and they're going to take that book into a coloring book.
Nice.
So that same thing. And they understand how important it is to color in business. There's really no business books out there to color.
No.
So they're trailblazers there, and they've asked me to do the forward. So I'm really excited.
Lovely. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a great book just to, hey, let's really think about this. Are we doing artwork? And one other thing about my art, this was totally a gift to me. There are open-ended pieces, right? So right from the beginning, when you color my art, you have to make decisions on color because it's abstract. And you have to make decisions on direction. So right away, you will color in the things that are closed because that's comfortable. But soon you have to make decisions. And when I teach, I show people you can color outside the lines.
Yeah.
For instance, I'll take a chalk and just do a string of hearts. And everybody in the class will go, like, I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can hear it in my mind. Like, oh, wow. And all of a sudden they got permission. And I start the class off coloring, trying the mediums so they can know what they're in for afterwards. And it releases something inside of them. Yeah, it's really interesting.
That. You know, and before we started rolling, I talked about how my daughter goes to a Montessori school, and one of the Montessori teachings is like, don't give like lined coloring books. Like, just give them a page, like a paper.
They do that.
You know, and colors, and let them color. So in like my daughter's room, she has a whiteboard. And so she's allowed to just do what she wants on the whiteboard, rather than being forced to like, oh, here is your little caricature that you have to draw and color in nicely.
Right. Because what did we do? We got yelled at
Yeah.
for not coloring nicely as a kid and coloring outside the lines.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things I'm keen to say is now, I know it doesn't work for me, but I tell people now you make your own cards, do your own coloring book of designs, you know, and they got to get to like it.
Yeah.
Right. I teach faux calligraphy
Okay.
because faux is just fake. Calligraphy simply means fancy handwriting.
Fancy, yeah, right.
So it's the thick and the thin of a letter.
Yeah, like you have very good calligraphy here. Like that looks gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's just adding. So here's the line, and you're just adding a bottom. Go thin, go thick, go thin, go thick, all the way up. Now, there is a science to the official way to do it and take the class, but that's not in my wheelhouse. And I don't want it to be. I don't want people to come in and say, oh, I didn't nail that letter. It's not about that, because you have a letter that sings to you. It could be bubble letters. Did you bubble letter?
Oh my gosh. You didn't have a bubble letter in there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's, it's all good. So did you cover your books as a kid? You know how they gave you textbooks?
Yes.
Paper bags, brown paper bags.
Oh my gosh, you had to decorate them. That was like the best part about the new school year, was getting your books, cutting up the grocery bags, taping it all together, and then you could just color on it, put stickers on it. All the time.
It was covered.
If you even look at my notebook to this day, because I'm still, I have to have that muscle memory. It's something, maybe it's the kinetic learning where I just have to write it down and then I visually see it and then it remembers. I have like stickers and everything. I'm still like that.
Yes. And you should be always. We need to pull more people into that. So if I love to do goal setting sessions with companies as an art class. And I'm like, how does that work? Right?
Yeah.
Well, it's
Do you do vision boards?
No. We actually do take your goals and we make them with the pen brush, other mediums out there. So it's a made vision board of a piece of art. Like we put in what the goal is. And maybe we represent that. Maybe it's a marathon, right? So I teach people a very simple graphic recording, which is, okay, if you need to draw a sneaker to represent a marathon, let's look up, it's called nounproject.org. And so there's a noun, and in that noun, there is a visual for that noun.
Okay.
So you can see what a simple sneaker looks like
Nice.
without looking at a sneaker with full color, because
And the textures and
can't see the lines.
Yeah.
Once you can see the lines, then jazz it up.
Right.
So then that's on there. Then we put a little date, right? And then we make it super simple, but we make it, you're not looking through magazines. You are the creator of it. So it's more of an art piece.
Sounds way more efficient to me too.
Yeah.
I'm more like that. Like I'll write down phrases or goals or write things down, word wise. And I know I've been told like, oh, you should do a vision board. And it's like the time to pick through and cut and, like it could be fun, but it just feels a little too time consuming.
Yeah. So when that happens, because vision, like if I want to go to Hawaii, I want to get a picture of Hawaii somewhere, right? So I tell people, go on the internet, print one out and just pop it on your wall.
Right.
You don't have to make a fancy board. Just have the pictures out, because that does
Visualize
work
it.
and it helps. But it also helps for you physically writing it. And it's conversation. It's fun.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss these 3D pieces of work here. So tell me a little bit about what we have here.
Okay. So a couple of years ago, I started working on metal. So this piece is super fun because it's stop and smell the flowers. I want people to look to actually stop. And the subliminally, I thought maybe the stop sign would help that.
It definitely does. It's it's a great shape. It's a shape that everyone recognizes, even kindergartners know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and I love riddles.
Yes.
So I make the name kind of like a little riddle.
What's the middle piece? Is that like glass? Is that?
Yeah. Okay. So I have a favorite art store down on, a gallery, excuse me. It's a collective gallery down on Main Street in Old Town.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a conglomeration of a whole bunch of different artists. And I went in there one day, her name is Pat, and I saw these glass hearts. And I'm like, you know what? Those need to be the
gorgeous.
centerpieces. And this is one that I had. Like,
Wow.
I'm an artist. I collect things.
Yeah, right? Because you never know. You never know when you're going to need it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Lovely.
So, yeah, it's so fun.
And then what about these coaster pieces?
Okay, so the coasters are they're tiles.
Okay.
So they can be backsplashes
Yeah,
or coasters.
Lovely.
So either way, the Butterfly Museum, the Wonderland, has is bringing me in the end of this month to do this.
Yeah.
And I guess she likes it so much I haven't even done it yet because I keep saying I did another one. She's booked me for the next 3 months.
Lovely.
So, and they're so satisfying. Now, this one's a little challenging because they're 1-inch squares before you cut it.
Oh my goodness.
So the classes are going to be these, and they're going to be 2-inch squares. So it's an 8x8 plastic. You create, you cut, and then you put back on the tile. So seemingly simple, but it takes a while to do. It'll be
Yeah,
a 2 hour.
it looks challenging to me,
Yeah.
but it looks like it'd be a whole
Yeah.
lot of fun and very creative.
Well, the plastic, it's plastic. You
Yeah.
can see through. I'll have a lot of traceables if you're not, key
okay.
on. Everybody's going to nail it. And those people who just want to go free flow, that's good. That's good too. So yeah, it's super fun. And then I go into senior homes as well. So they want to do something for 4th of July.
Aw, fun.
Yeah, super fun. And I'm hoping to do another huge metal piece for a flag.
Cool.
So the one I did for SUSD and Scottsdale Arts, that's the last one I did, Family Fest in February. That's 10 feet long. We have only 800 more pieces to put on.
Wow.
So she got all the schools to kind of like get the pieces. Now we're going to pick a day and finish it up. And they get covered with resin. So it's nice and thick. Like this is resin on top. And that's going to go outside Mojave, one of their schools where the district office is. So my passion is that everybody gets down to a gallery and sees art. But if you don't, let's bring art to the people. Let's bring art where I love serendipitous art, where like you're walking by and you're like, oh, we can do that? Yes, please do that. And you're working together. And then to say, oh, it's going to be in the public. Where's it going to be? I want to go see it, right? When I was doing the one for at the Family Fest, moms, kids, everybody did. I go, grandma, grandpas, and they were like, really? I'm like, yes, please, we need your help. Look how big the piece is. So when we needed them, they said yes. They didn't voluntarily say, oh yeah, I got this. Right? That's so funny. So this was key. The kids are sitting down, the mom's standing at the table coloring, and I go over to her and I simply say, have a seat, relax.
Right.
And she's like, oh, thank you. I've had a rough week.
Aww.
Spontaneously, she gives me a big hug and she's like, oh. And they're just sitting there because I don't want to say coloring the hearts are mindless, but kind of they are because you can do one color. You don't have to think about it. You can put something doodle on it. But they're so fun. Once you start creating on the plastic, you're never going to want to stop because it's rough.
Yeah.
And it's colored pencil. So there's like, ASMR with the kids like crunching. It's that feel. It's that sensory.
Yeah.
And it's very, it's fun.
Yeah.
I say, I'm not addicted to drugs. I'm not addicted to alcohol. I'm addicted to plastic.
I love that. Well, be careful though with that much plastic. You touch it.
I know, no, not sniffing.
So what you're doing is what a lot of artists wish they could do, and that is make money through art. So if you were to leave an artist with some advice, like what to do to, actually make a career and make money through their art, what would be your advice to them?
Okay. So number one, stay consistent with your model style of art, not so much model. So when people see a piece of mine, they're like, oh, that's Debra Lee Murrow. It's very identifiable, like Georgia O'Keeffe.
Right.
Those are her flowers,
Yeah.
right? And then just, give, volunteer. So the question you want to ask is, how can I be of service, right? That's number one. What can I do to give back? I've been doing my art ministry part of this whole thing since day one.
Yeah.
Experiencing the word of God through art with this. And I teach a class online. It's free on Wednesday nights. And it's a prophetic art class. I teach people how to hear and then maybe just put a word down. What are you hearing God telling you in that little baby devotion? And then just getting creative, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing is get a coach, get a mentor. Wish I had a coach and a mentor prior to now, which I have now. So talk, get people together. You got to talk about your ideas. And then first thought, right? Don't be afraid. And then, we, a couple of us in NABO are keen on getting your subconscious brain in line with what you're saying. Right? You got to do your affirmations. You got to instead of running all over the place, it says, it says haste makes waste, but you got to slow down.
Yeah.
You got to receive. I used to get up and hit the floor.
I used to be told all the time, hurry up to slow down.
Oh, right. Right.
I'd hate that phrase so much. I'm like, okay.
Right.
Yeah. And the other one I grew up with was haste makes waste.
Yep.
My mom and my brother would tell me that all the time.
Yeah, but it totally, and that will bring you to poverty. It actually says that. So you have to sit and receive, because we're not born to run around like crazy with our heads cut off at all. We want to stop. And if we run into somebody, not like, oh, I got to go, but we want to give that person time.
Yeah.
Give people the time of day.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, what is this orange poster? So this orange has been look in my corner of my eye this whole session. I need to know what's this orange.
So I just make these folders to transport. So it has a bunch more in it and a bunch more of these. Okay. This is the Woman of Strength.
Nice. Yes.
So fun. Their
Love
whole
that.
thing with the Phoenix of Phoenix. This is a women's group that meets once a year, and it's just 400 people come to this event. It's a realtor event where they just pour into people. So I just I don't get paid for some of these. And that's the other part of, doing what you love. And then all of a sudden it'll catch on, right? People will say.
Well, that's what you mentioned to, those artists out there as a tip is, look who's in the room. If there's people in the room that you think could, that you really want to connect with, that, could benefit and help your, project your career, then it's worth it potentially. Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So these are little works that I've done, voices, and not until they are hard to read at first shot, but not until you get on it.
Yeah.
And you just have a moment and you're coloring.
And then you
through.
can discover the words inside.
Like a find and seek, right?
Yeah. It's fun that way.
It is fun. It's like, whoa, I didn't know that. And then you can write your words in here.
Yeah.
Like no rules type of thing.
Lovely.
Yeah. It's fun.
So possibly my most important question of the day. What's your favorite animal with a tail?
My favorite animal with a tail. Oh, I've got to have a dog. I have a little Shih Tzu. I know.
It's okay.
I know. What's yours?
Well, Team Cat, all the way. I'm a borderline crazy cat lady.
Well, we do have a cat too.
Okay, well then good. Okay, so Team Dog and Cat.
Yeah.
Football.
He whacks me with his tail though.
Oh.
Like the little Shih Tzu. It's just so sweet.
Nice. No, I like being like an aunt to dogs. You can visit them, play with them, but then when they have to go poop and pick up then that's when I'm done.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. It's not my favorite part.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, you've been such a pleasure, and I just love seeing your artwork. I always love being able to see your beautiful spirits when we're together at NABO. And, sometimes we see each other at other events, which is really fun. So if someone wanted to have you at your event, or if they wanted to know about when you're doing a class, whether it's at the Butterfly Museum or somewhere else, how can people get a hold of you? How can people stay in touch?
Yep. So colormeartspa.com, colorme Debra Lee at gmail.com, and of course my link tree. So that's Color Me Linktree. So yeah, it's I love the link tree because your links are right there. You don't have to navigate a web page.
Yes, we have one as well. Yes,
it's wonderful.
Yes,
so,
yes. Yeah. And if you were to just leave everyone with just one final message, what would that be?
That would be this: claim it. Right? 1, 2, 3. I am an artist and I am creative.
So remember that. She says you have to say it 3 times. So you are an artist, you are creative, and thank you for watching Tales with Taylor today. Thank you for watching Tales with Taylor. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Financial Potion YouTube channel to never miss an episode.